want to educate people on franchising. We want to help people with mindset, really take control of their future. But a lot of people, especially as a younger entrepreneur, we'll talk about people in corporate America, but a lot of people in, growing up, middle school, high school, college, they have no idea what they want to do in life. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges, just figuring out what you want to do in life, what you're passionate about. So I think it's very helpful from someone in your position who has been in franchising, you've seen success, you're in a successful position now, just trying to understand a little bit more about the journey and kind of how you got there. So kind of dive into your background, maybe starting in high school, and don't feel like you need to like give your whole life story right now. Just kind of give a little small piece and then we can kind of start to break it down to where you are today. But when you were kind of in high school, I understand, your family owned a franchise, but what did that kind of look like in high school? How old were you when your family first made that investment? What did things look like when you were growing up? Where did you grow up? What did that look like?
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. So I grew up here in the Nashville, Tennessee area, which is where I'm located again. So my original goal, what I wanted to do when I was in school, I have always been somewhat career oriented, even younger, started working pretty early, around 14 years old, and have always had a job, always had that focus in the back of my mind. But going all the way back to high school, I really wanted to be an engineer, more specifically a mechanical engineer. Always really loved just the processes around engineering. Always loved the idea of design through engineering as well, and kind of just figuring out how things work. So that was always my goal. And then in high school, my parents started the franchise. So my dad was the typical franchisee starter or owner. He was corporate America for 25 years. He was in manufacturing and wanted to get out of it, wanted to get away from corporate America. He ended up doing consulting towards the end and then just wanted to do something on his own, but really has always been very entrepreneurial at heart. My grandfather, his dad, very entrepreneurial as well. He did antenna and cable installations way back in the day. So, and my dad helped him with that when he was in high school. So just kind of interesting how it has come full circle. So yeah, I was all set up to do that. I was all set up for engineering. I was in a pre-engineering course in my high school, and then everything kind of changed. My dad kind of planted that seed in my head that, hey, there's this family business. I'm going to scale it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and how we scale it. So I'm going to continue to grow this business. By the time you're ready to join, we're going to have a great business for you to be able to join. It could be your first thing. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe we'll see about it. And then as business continued to grow, as it continued to change, really saw him creating a really cool lifestyle for himself, being able to manage his time, being able to manage really how he's growing the business and who he's working with. Every day was a new day. So he didn't have a monotonous routine of going to the office and the same thing over and over again. It was truly a unique kind of a situation every day. And I saw him loving it. I just saw him really enjoying what he was doing for the first time, really, since that I'd ever seen him with work. So I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then business ownership really started to take a hold, and I got really interested in it. So I was working with the business all through school in a part-time manner. And then once I finished college, I moved down to Orlando, worked down there for about 4.5 years, 5 years with the family business. My primary role was business development. And so I was going out and helping our family business scale. And then we got to a point to where, my parents are getting towards retirement age and kind of getting close to that chapter. I wanted to come back to Nashville, Tennessee. It's always felt like home for me as well. So made that transition back to Nashville, was lucky enough to find a position with the corporate team with iTrip. And now, like you mentioned, I'm able to share those experiences and the knowledge that I gained from working in the business for so many years into the corporate team and a potential new franchisee candidates. So we did have a successful sale, successfully exited the business, which is another, very exciting thing, big plus for the business. Certainly a solid business too. So it's been great through and through. Everyone's happy.
That's awesome, Keith. And you dropped a lot there. So we definitely want to break some of that down for sure. That's really interesting. And it really started off with kind of your engineering background. I think that's really so fascinating, where sometimes people think you need to have that business background. I always kind of ask, nature versus nurture on terms of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. And really with franchising and really having those systems in place, it allows you to figure out what your strengths are and your weaknesses, and then find the right opportunity for you and really thrive on that. And I think what's so interesting about the engineering background, especially, as a male, when you go into college, it's a lot of people, it's like, are you business? Are you engineering? And if you're female, is it like business or nursing? Or, it's somewhere along those lines, not to stereotype people, but that seemed to be every time when I was a freshman in college, it was like, what do you major in? You could already guess what someone majored in to a certain extent. But like with the engineering, I just think it's very powerful. And something like the IT people, like they have a certain kind of mindset with being able to fix problems. And that's really so crucial in the business world with how do you react when there's a challenge?